What do you guys want to watch next? We got Kyle Beats, we got Eldre, how to scam Spotify and make bank. I want to learn how to scam Spotify. Okay, let's check out how to scam Spotify and make bank. I want to learn how to scam Spotify.
How a silent album robbed Spotify of $20,000.
Wait, what?
How a silent album...
Oh, okay, is he talking about like the noise stuff? Wait, is he gonna react to...
In 2014...
So we're reacting to a reaction right now? Should I just react to the video he's reacting to? I should just react to the video he's reacting to. This.
In 2014,
this, dude. Thanks for the content, Eldre. I'm gonna be reacting to the video that you're reacting to instead, though.
All independent band named Vulfpeck wanted to go on tour, but didn't have enough money. But by using a simple trick on Spotify, they managed to land themselves with $20,000 and threatened
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work anymore, dude.
Spotify's entire business model. Vulfpeck are an indie funk band from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and are relatively well-known today. But back in 2014, they had a very modest following and had only roughly 1,600 followers on Twitter. They had a cult following, though, and, like many up-and-coming artists, were struggling to...
Is that Bass Nectar? Is that Bass Nectar listening to this? What is Bass Nectar? Dude, Bass Nectar is underground as fuck, dude.
They had a cult following,
Bass Nectar is super underground.
Though, and, like many up-and-coming artists, were struggling to find ways to keep everything going in terms of cash flow and earnings. Jack Stratton, the leader of Vulfpeck, randomly came across an interview with the music producer Ron Fair, which sparked a light bulb moment.
Bro, that's sus as hell. You got this fucking multi-million-dollar studio, and then you got KRKs up there. What is going on? What is going on, dude?
Stratton told Rolling Stone magazine, Fair produced Lady Marmalade and said it was only available on the soundtrack in stores. So people had to buy this $18 soundtrack to get this hit single. He goes, that was a big win. I was like, wow.
$150 KRKs? Yeah, bro. I mean, I get it. Like, KRKs, there's nothing really wrong with KRKs, but it's just weird when you could have, like, Genelecs or something like that. And then you also have these loudspeakers behind them. You know what I mean? Like, the KRKs are blocking these loudspeakers. It's just odd. It's odd.
Came across an interview.
There's nothing wrong with it, for the most part, I guess, but... odd choice.
Ron Fair had found a way to use a clever trick to make more money off music.
Standing at the mixing desk, mixing an empty wave file. Dude, that's funny as hell. They like released like a silent song and they're like, all right, send it off to the mastering engineer. We need to get his input on this. He's just sitting there like, it's perfect. It's perfect.
But when Vulfpeck were starting out in the early 2010s, the musical landscape looked very different. With fewer people buying physical copies of music, Bandcamp was and is an important platform for independent artists.
This is reminding me a lot of the Krayshawn video.
On this platform, you could buy a digital copy of the album.
2010s was a very interesting time to be releasing music or having like a record deal or anything of the sort. They must be John Cage fans.
And 80% of the money goes directly to the artist or label. Vulfpeck found that roughly 1,000 people had bought their album on Bandcamp and provided them with an important revenue stream.
A lot.
But as an independent band, they found it difficult to tour. Without the financial backing of a label, tours had to be funded by themselves, and there were no guarantees that they would make their money back. What they needed was money upfront to fund a tour, and they decided that they could finance this tour by gaming music streaming services, in particular, Spotify. According to Stratton, we knew we wanted to tour, because every day we get a request on our Facebook or Twitter to come to some town. And we had even been talking about a concept where people say, we're going to come to these cities, and if people buy enough tickets, we'll show up. So then simultaneously I was thinking, what is a Spotify exclusive album?
We're operating on this 1,000 fan hypothesis that this could definitely work if thousands of our fans do this and have Spotify.
Only work if thousands of our fans do this and have Spotify. The plan was simple. They released a new album.
Dude, every song is 31 seconds. That's amazing. Just a minimum length in order for it to count as a stream.
The first song was called Z and consisted of just over 30 seconds of silence. The second track was called ZZ, which similarly consisted of over 30 seconds of silence. The whole album was nothing but complete and utter silence. It was an album that fans were encouraged to play on a loop while they went to
God, I'm salty I did not think of this. How did I not think of this?
sleep, and it was called Sleepify.
You know what they should have done? They should have like tried to convince people that it will it's like healing chakras or something, you know?
They did this, they could go on tour. And what
be like, put this on and it'll help make your dreams come true. You'll have good dreams. You will, if your dreams are not good, something went wrong. You gotta try again. It has like an 80% success rate, you know?
More, they could provide free admission for their fans. In the promo video for the album,
He looks like Young Gravy.
Says, here's how it works. Vulfpeck released Sleepify the album last week on Spotify. This album is different than our previous albums. This album is much quieter. In fact, we believe it's the most silent album ever recorded.
Okay, John Cage he's rolling in his grave right now, all right?
A report from The Guardian did the math and said, so if a fan slept for 7 hours and streamed the album for the whole time, they'd play 840 tracks, generating $5.88 for Vulfpeck. If you can convince 100 fans
Robbery, man.
to do the same, that works out at
How dare you steal from a really generous and nice company such as Spotify? That is so fucked up. How could they do this? Unbelievable.
$188
I'm sick right now. I'm sick right now in my stomach.
per night royalties. And that's assuming each listener only has one playable device and only streams through the night.
Dude, they're just like encouraging people to scam them, dude. That's so funny. Like, all right, dude, just set this up and have it play on every device you have every night.
Let it play all through the day, Vulfpeck's earnings could be more than tripled. You could, with willing fans, make a load of money from this scheme. 2 other tricks were used to make them more money.
I really wish I could time travel right now, man.
The reason why they got their fans to stream this album and not just their other albums on silent is because artists have tried this before, and Spotify recognizes when someone is doing this. But with Sleepify, you could play the album on full volume and still go to sleep.
Oh, so it actually keeps track of like the volume you have it on? Like, so what if you have it at like 1 volume though? Just like 1, you know what I mean? Instead of like 10 or 0, just have it at 1. How would that work?
To be just over 30
I
seconds
think a ton of their dough from it got withheld from them. Well, I mean, I can't say I feel sorry for them, but
long, which is enough time for Spotify to consider the song to have been properly streamed and pay the artist. Sleepify was, at first, an incredibly popular album. Stratton says, it's roughly 100,000 per track listens, so 1 million
it's
total.
still up there? Wait, hold on a second. I gotta know right now. When you put that in, the first thing that comes up is John Cage 433. I don't see it. Is it under their own artist name, or is it under like Sleepify, like the artist name? I don't see it anymore. Yeah, I'm guessing it got taken down, right? Spotify fault for not thinking of someone doing that. They changed the rules. Yeah, Twitch does the same thing with viewers. You can't put like that up no more. What if you just put like noise, right? Or maybe that's what people were doing for a while. Because I remember I talked about this in one of my news videos where they changed the rules for Spotify and they like made it so you have to play like a noise track longer in order for it to count as a stream.
Which is a big number.
I'm assuming maybe they're talking about that because there are actual noise tracks, like not noise to genre, but noise tracks that people will like sleep to, like white noise and stuff like that.
All these services pay about 2 months after the sale. So we'll know
noise,
then,
like pink noise.
based on the rough calculations over 1 million streams, if it was half a cent, that would be $5,000. The band then acted as if this was a real album. They tweeted, "Please don't shuffle Sleepify. I know this might come off snobbish, but we spent a lot of time on track order." Spotify was put in a difficult situation, and their first reaction was to play it cool. Vulfpeck initially received an email from Spotify ambiguously asking if they needed help with anything. Then Spotify even saw the funny side. Spotify spokesperson Graham James said, "This is a clever stunt, but we prefer Vulfpeck's earlier albums. Sleepify seems derivative of John Cage's work." However, James may have shot himself in the foot with this comment. John Cage was an experimental composer who released a song in 1952
Yeah, that's stealing. That is stealing, all right?
called 433, which was 4 minutes and 33 seconds of complete silence.
Well, it's not the full length though, so it's not the same.
The song was, and continues to be, on Spotify's streaming services. With this in mind, it was difficult for Spotify
it's fine when he does it? It's fine when he does it. All right, whatever.
to argue that these weren't real songs because there was no noise.
True, there is
Rock
noise in
band
his
Sonic
song,
Youth
right?
also
Wait, hold on.
released a
Let me
song
play
called
that.
Silent.
Hopefully I don't get claimed for this. That'd be hilarious if I got claimed for this. Sleepify. It came up when I put Sleepify. Yeah, I'm assuming it has like the noise of like people in the audience, right? Actually, I hear nothing. There's absolutely nothing. Dude, this live version, the Spotify version, it doesn't hit the same way as the live version, you know? I'm not really feeling it. Is it even playing on my computer right now? I can't even fucking tell. Yeah, it's playing. I mean, I get it though. This song is really good. No, but when it's live, you can at least hear the audience. You hear people like sneezing and coughing and like that. So, you know, it's not really the same. I don't know. I prefer the live version. It is better on vinyl. I agree.
In 1995, which, as the name suggests, consisted of complete silence and is available on streaming platforms. The Sleepify album presented bad news for Spotify. Vulfpeck, a small funk band from Michigan, were now making headlines everywhere. Their story highlighted how difficult it was for musicians to make money, and
It'd have been hilarious if everybody just embraced it. Like they ended up on like the Stephen Colbert show and like they're performing their song live, like the, you know, Z or whatever. And like everybody's just like, yeah, it's fucking great. It's amazing. What if you add a random single hi-hat on every track right at the end and it's technically okay, right? I don't know. Try it out, dude. It's on YouTube. What is the original version? Should we look at that real quick? I want the original, okay? I don't want this live recorded bullshit version. Is this the original here? Oh yeah, dude. This is that good This is that good Ooh, that noise, dude. Oh yeah, that's some good stuff right there. Dude, I like how everyone just claps. They're like, wow. Wow. Okay, it's a performance of William Marks doing it. So this wasn't the first time. Okay, well, that was interesting. This is some abstract contemporary art. Yeah, dude, it really makes you think, doesn't it?
Problems with their streaming service model. There was also the danger of copycats. Vulfpeck were now featured on Billboard, and towards the end of the article, it read, "Should Vulfpeck's brilliant stunt materialize into a completely free tour for fans, it could change the way independent artists regard streaming services and fan engagement. Just stream your favorite band's music or non-music while you sleep, and they could come to your city for absolutely free. This might just be the easiest way to support artists ever." Ultimately, Spotify had to put their foot down.
It'd be hilarious if Spotify was like, "Well, we want to support artists too, you know. So we gotta let this ride, man." They sampled the Cage, dude. Yeah, it's not cool. Uncleared sample, uncleared sample.
If they didn't act now, their whole platform could be covered in silent albums. So a few weeks later, Spotify emailed Vulfpeck and demanded that they take down the album. Vulfpeck posted this on Facebook and said they apparently violated some of Spotify's terms. Vice magazine reported on this and could not get any response from Spotify as to what was happening. The article read, "We've tried numerous..."
Wait, that headline there is fucking hilarious, dude. Wait, a band that tried to make money from Spotify have been banned from Spotify? I kind of feel like they're oversimplifying it there a little bit, but yeah, great headline. Great headline for sure. Yeah, they did try to technically make money from Spotify. I mean, that's, it kind of implies that they were like doing it the right way, but yeah, whatever.
On this and could not get any response from Spotify as to what was happening. The article read,
"Dude, clickbait culture has fucked everything up, man. Like, you can't even explain things the way they properly are anymore. You have to like fucking encode it in some you gotta do some sort of sneak attack."
On this and could not get any response from Spotify as to what was happening. The article read, "We've tried numerous times to contact Spotify, but they've issued a no comment on every occasion, taking on the strategy of, let's not give this band any attention." But Vulfpeck was less inclined to go quietly. They released an EP of 3 songs called Official Statement, which contained the first track called #Hurt, where they explained that they were being asked to take down
This is kind of genius.
the album.
Serious marketing here.
The second track was Complete Silence, and the third track was just a random instrumental. Stratton also
Why would you upload another silent track, man? Just come on, learn your lesson here, dude.
did an interview with Vice. When asked why Spotify asked him to take it down, he sarcastically said, "I think they panicked when they realized someone was actually making money from the music."
Okay, that's just not accurate, man. Music? Yeah, actually, I mean, yeah, that's music. That's music.
So said,
right.
"I haven't heard of any yet, but in the email asking us to take it down, they said they were receiving similar silent submissions." But the question is whether they would make any money from Sleepify.
Dude, editing YouTube videos has totally fucked up my brain. Like, anytime I'm watching like a video essay or something like this, like every time there's stock footage, I'm like, stock footage, stock footage, stock footage, stock footage. Like, my girlfriend is like so annoyed with me at this point. I'm like, stock footage, stock footage.
Sleepify. At the time of the interview, Sleepify had now been streamed 3.72
Yeah, that mastering engineer's got a shitload of headroom.
million times, which should have generated $18,000 for the band. When asked if Spotify would pay up, Stratton's response was, "My guess is they will. Spotify pays 2 months after the listen, so we'll know in May sometime."
Cock footage.
And despite the album being banned from Spotify, Vulfpeck were awarded $20,000 in earnings from the Sleepify album. They did free
there'd probably be a lawsuit if they didn't, at least for their case, because there was no rules in place before that.
tours for fans in cities where the album was streamed the most, which were LA, San Francisco, Chicago, New York, and their hometown of Ann Arbor, Michigan. While Spotify looks like the bad guys in this particular story, there's a lot more to it than that. Stratton admitted in one interview
stock footage, by the way. Sorry. Almost let that one slip by.
that he's actually
Have you guys heard the Dolby Atmos version yet? Yeah, I heard it doesn't really hit as hard, though.
a big fan of Spotify and streaming services, but only as a user. He said, "As a user of the service, I'm a fan. I make a joke in the Sleepify video about how Spotify will throw in the history of recorded music if you sign up for Sleepify. As a band, though, you have to be practicing yoga and eating grass-fed butter to face the coldness of the free market." Essentially, Spotify provides the artist or label with 70% of the earnings they make, so they take a minority of the money earned and not much less than Bandcamp. That being said, Stratton pointed out that it's not so much the rate of payment, but their entire business
Not much less than Bandcamp. Okay, that's just not correct, I don't think, but whatever.
model that's the problem. In one interview, Stratton said, "If Whole Foods came out with a $10 a month subscription to food, it would be a popular product as well." A year later, Jay-Z released Tidal, which offered a slightly
Didn't Tidal have like a bunch of bot streams or something? That Tidal bot stream. God, where is it? I remember hearing about that. I don't know. I can't remember what artist did it.
rate per stream for musicians. He told the New York Times, "The challenge is to get everyone to respect music again, to recognize its value. Water is free. Music is $6, but no one wants to pay for music. You should drink free water from the tap. It's a beautiful thing. And if you want to hear the most beautiful song, then support the artist." Taylor Swift, who had pulled her music from Spotify, gave a very simple thought process on why the Spotify model was problematic. She'd said, "Music is art."
When did she do that? It must have been a while ago, right?
Art is
Music's still on there, I thought. Is it not? I don't know, I'm not really up to Taylor Swift lore. Yeah, no, it's here. When was that? 108 million monthly listeners, dude. Break me off a piece of that, man, for real.
important and rare. Important, rare things are valuable. Valuable things should be paid for. It's my opinion that music should not be free, and my prediction is that individual artists and their labels will someday decide what an album's price point is. I hope they don't underestimate themselves or undervalue their art. As we've seen since then, Taylor Swift and many others who had pulled their music have replaced their music and put it back up
The thing is, like, it will never be effective for people to pull their music until, like, everybody does it. Just one person doing it is going to do nothing except make you lose money.
on streaming platforms. This tactic of releasing silent music has not been repeated since, effectively at least, but others have used Sleep Trick. Justin Bieber, or a person who was running his socials, reposted something from a fan which said, quote, "Justin really wants that number one and he's really excited about it, as he said yesterday in his live stream.
Bro, that shit was funny, dude. The Yummy promotion.
Justin really wants that number one and he's really excited about it, as he said yesterday in his live stream. If you don't want to do any of this, it's totally fine. Just ignore the post. This is tips for the people who actually want to do an extra effort." The plan was to create a playlist with the song Yummy on it, then play it constantly while you sleep.
Dude, that shit's funny.
As I
He was,
mentioned
begging
before,
his fans
Spotify
to,
has
like,
fraud
stream it.
detection measures in place, so you cannot play it on mute. So they suggested playing it at a low volume instead. Added
And we don't have to hear the song, you know what I mean? We don't want you to hear the song.
to this, the fan encouraged Bieber fans based outside of the US to use a VPN and set their location to the US when playing the tracks. But despite their best efforts, they only reached number 2 on the Billboard charts to the number 1 song, The Box by Roddy Ricch. In 2023, the best way to support your favorite artists is not through
Stock
tricks and
footage.
gimmicks. It's through buying their music, attending live shows, or purchasing merchandise. Or, failing that, streaming their music or recommending them to your friends. Make sure to subscribe for more.
That was a pretty cool video. I actually never knew about this. I mean, I think I've heard of like similar cases of this, usually with noise. I've never heard of the Silent album. Obviously, I've heard of like John Cage, but have not heard of this one yet. Now venues are taking a percentage of merch from bands. That's true, yeah. That's like not super new news, but that was like earlier this year for sure. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, following, subscribing, donating. I appreciate all that. Till next time.
The Bang Incorporated.